Herman for IMTS TV, and welcome back to another edition of Shop Talk. Our guest this morning is Christina Fuges, the editorial director for Mold Making Technology magazine. Christina, welcome.
Thank you, Bill.
And I guess congratulations are in order as Mold Making celebrates its 20th anniversary this year.
20 years.
So how did the magazine get started? Can you tell our viewers how?
Sure. First of all, I have to say it's been a really exciting year, kind of looking back on not just the industry's history, but the brand's history, and reconnecting with old industry colleagues and kind of reminiscing about, I don't know, the old days, really. It's only 20 years, but it's a milestone for a niche industry like this.
How many years have you been with the book?
I started, I'm a founding partner of the publication.
Oh, high school
before
project.
It got sold. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, Bill. But we also celebrated the 20th anniversary in our special April 2008 issue.
Okay.
So people can get that online to check out. Special features are in there. And we did a podcast series with me, the original founder of the magazine, and the current owner is Gardner Business Media. So it's kind of fun to look back.
Now, I cut you off a little bit. How did it get started?
So, well, in a nutshell, Joe Preshak, what is the current chairman of the board of the Plastic Group in Erie, Pennsylvania. So they're an injection molder, and he's a mold maker by trade. So he always wanted a magazine or something for mold makers to share, because there was nothing out there. Plenty of plastics magazines, but not mold making. So it was around 96, 97, now I'm dating myself. He and the late Gary Orff approached me to start a company and to start a magazine. And I had worked with both of them at a previous publishing company. And they grabbed two other women that I used to work with, and we started a company, and we started a magazine. So and from the ground up, it was very exciting, because it didn't take too long to realize that Joe was right. There was so much going on in this industry to share that they were kind of waiting for something to recognize their art, their craft, their business, and all the technology that wasn't there before. We spent about, I guess, the first couple weeks brainstorming, and I remember the first day I had a notebook full of just questions and notes, and then we shot over to the Plastic Group, got Mold Making 101, then we hit the road trying to sell the concept to technology suppliers to advertise and to kind of feel out mold builders, and here we are today. Now, in 2004, Gardner Business Media purchased the magazine, and we had a trade show too. It used to be called the Mold Making Expo, and now it's called AmeriMold.
Right,
so,
right.
And it's been thriving under Gardner's ownership, because they've been able to take it to a whole other level.
What do you think makes it unique? I mean, lasting 20 years is, of course, an accomplishment, but you're more than that. You're the voice of the industry now.
And I would say that's got to be why it's lasted. I mean, not only have they, well, let's put it this way. As long as technology suppliers and mold builders are willing to share their expertise and knowledge with each other through us, it's going to keep going on, because they need that. And it doesn't matter that technology and processes keep changing, it still needs to be covered. So, and we are the only one.
Given the 20-year perspective that you have, what technology do you think has had the biggest impact on mold making in that time?
Oh my gosh, I knew you were going to ask that. That is, I mean, just to name one is almost ridiculous, right? I would have to say that data is like the game changer for mold making, because, and maybe many manufacturers can say that, but it touches every aspect of what they do, right? So design, quoting, scheduling, part design, cavity design, machining, programming, all the way through to maintenance. They are impacted by that, and now they're learning how to collect it, analyze it, and now, which I'm learning here at IMTS too, that whole portion of data is advancing, where I think they're understanding what to do with it now. So that would be the biggest. But there's also 5-axis machining, automation and robots, 3D printing, high-speed tooling. I mean, there's so many different, but I would say data is the big one.
And there'll be a great conference on that tomorrow. I don't know what your schedule's like, but Women in Big Data, that group is putting that on. That's going to be an excellent panel session. Ton of firepower on there. Now, we hear so much about culture in every office space. We hear so much about culture, and manufacturing is not excluded from that. What are you seeing in mold making shops in terms of the culture of their factories?
Culture is gigantic, and I can't see that going away anytime soon, because I feel that's a really key strategy to finding, keeping the next generation. So if you think about it, a culture can be defined many ways, right? It can be an unconventional perk that I think nowadays is directed at this under 30 generation. So it's like no cost healthcare, access to a gym with a trainer, on-site meal programs. I'm seeing this in mold shops, right? And then there's the culture where it's more focused on, you know, leadership skills and really being immersed in that, teaching them how to balance work and life is very important, flexibility, open communication across, up and down and across all levels, you know, not being afraid to share ideas. So there's different ways that there's culture changing, and it's working, because I would say the past 2 years I've seen in our little niche a number of under 30-year-olds, and not just like one in a shop, like a bunch, you know, a handful of under 30-year-olds in these mold shops. So what they're doing is working, and there's A1 Tool, I'm going to name a few just to give a little shout out to them. A1 Tool, Westminster Tool, Franchino Mold, Ameritech, and actually I'm mentioning those because in October, Mold Making is doing our inaugural 30 under 30s honors program, and they're a few of the shops that are featured in there that have multiple 30-year-olds. So make sure to check that out in October.
That's encouraging. It's such a big initiative for everybody to identify their next gen.
Exactly.
How is a mold making shop different than a job shop, in your opinion?
All right, so according to me, I am probably
the expert,
too, yes, would say they definitely have unique challenges from a job shop. So for example, a job shop generally focuses on a singular part that's like eventually married to components of a product.
Right.
Whereas a mold builder is thinking about like very highly accurate, one of a kind part, which is the mold, but all the components within that mold. So they have to think of the big picture, right? Not just one aspect of it. They're making the whole thing. So again, that entails not just part design, but the cavity design, programming, machining, all the way through to inspection, measuring, validating, assembly, and trying out their product. They do it all. So that's close tolerance, tight tolerances, precision, accuracy. They need repeatable technologies, which of course we're seeing there's a myriad of that here for them. But in order to do that, they also have to have stellar project management skills, and they have to be good at planning. So it's all about the overall, not just a single part.
Interesting. You talked about their challenges. You referenced the show floor here at IMTS. Are you seeing some technologies that are specific to mold making as you walk around the floor?
Yeah, and actually prior to, I'm always checking out the show prior to, because we are a niche, so this show can be overwhelming. So you want to provide the readers with a little bit of a target when they come to the show, otherwise, oh my gosh.
Wandering in the desert.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean, 3D printing is big, and they're actually, my audience or our audience is now acknowledging that there's ways to use that within what they are doing. Even though it can be marketed as this toolless technology, they should be using that. The hybrid machines that are doing subtractive and additive. Takumi, I was over there yesterday at that booth, and they have, I think it's 3D Hybrid is the company, a 3D printer head that can go on any CNC machine and provide additive and subtractive. And it seems, I was talking to the gentleman, that it could be really good to be applied to mold repair, which is interesting. So that's a way to kind of make the mold builder understand the applications of 3D printing in their world. But a lot of 5-axis machining, automation with the robots, everything seems to me to kind of it's being extended. Like things have been improved, things have been expanded, you know, in terms of that versus something new. Just like smart manufacturing, Industry 4.0, all those things are being advanced and taken to the next level at the show is what I'm seeing.
Very cool. Certainly a lot of buzz about additive, and a little bit of the knock in the past has been some of the speed issues, how that's working. Is that as much of an impact on mold making? It's not a production issue in mold making?
Right. Well, it could be. I mean, that could be what somebody is saying, why, if you think about it, we could take it really far out to see what's going to happen with the technology, right? Our primary audience, you're talking high volume production molding, right? So you could debate that and have an argument about where you see that, but is 3D printing at a point where it's going to produce, you know, millions of parts as quickly as you can mold them? Not right now, but someday, who knows? Who knows?
Have you run into any of your readers here at the show?
Yes.
What are they looking for?
Yes, they are looking, well, it's funny, a couple of them I shadow to kind of get to stand back and kind of watch the questions they're asking.
They didn't call security? You were discreet?
I'm a stalker, right? It's the way we get leads. But yeah, they it's EDM, and there's been a few advances with EDM too. Additive manufacturing, they want to know what's going on with that, 5-axis machining, and lasers, whether it's for welding, engraving, or texturing. That is things that are coming here to specifically look at. And they're buying. I know a few shops that are here have been in kind of a holding pattern. So when they come here, they're not technically, they're, what do you call it, window shopping, but not this year. I know somebody bought an EDM machine yesterday.
The lasers is an interesting topic. Not as big of a component of this show traditionally. We do have, in fact, just today, the Laser Industry of America is hosting the Industrial Laser Conference here at IMTS.
There's a lot of conferences at this event.
There's some deep dive learning if you want it. Are you seeing more integration of the lasers into your shops?
In terms of on the mold repair side, yes. Yeah. So I would be interested to see. I haven't really gotten over there myself to see how they're using them, but definitely in repair, which is a big aspect of mold. It's engineering, building, and repair. And repair, maintenance and repair is huge.
I got a guy. I'll hook you up.
I got a guy. Everybody has a guy.
Now, okay, congratulations on 20 years. Where do you see the next 20 years going? Both for the magazine, for your industry?
The magazine, I just see us continuing to build a really strong community through content. So again, as long as they're willing to share, we're providing that. But you know what? It's not just print anymore. It's not just monthly. It is digital. It's online. It's podcasts, newsletters. I mean, webinars, trade shows, conferences. However they need it, we're going to provide it for them. And you know what's funny? I once, for the anniversary covers, I was reaching out to readers that have been with us for a while, kind of seeing what has been the impact of having a magazine on you and your industry, how you feel. And the greatest quote is that it legitimized my trade, is what they said. And I'm like, that is pretty cool for it to be even a little part of having somebody feel like, wow, we're not just lumped in with plastics, we're not just lumped in with metalworking, we can stand on our own. Do you want to hear some data about the industry? Because I recently, so the US Census Bureau collects data on industrial mold manufacturing. So, and recently the publisher and I have been looking at the data. They are projecting, well, let's step back. So they take molds produced, imports and exports, okay? And from that data, they're projecting, or they value the market at $11 billion. And from here until 2020, the next 5 years, they are projecting, I think, an average 4.6% growth rate in mold manufacturing. So that's going to take it to about a little over $13 billion. And they've also reported on top of that, I think last year, people in that space have spent more than $119 million on machine tool accessories. And that includes cutting tools, like, you know, the Sandviks and the Secos and the Iscars, all those, and I guess the Walters, the Horns. There's so many that provide tools specific to mold making. And over $285 million on machines and equipment. So it really is like validating that this industry is one that the companies that build that equipment, whether it's EDM, milling, grinding, they should be marketing and selling to this marketplace. And I remember, I don't know, 2006, 2008, booths would be broken out, and one of the segments in a booth would be mold and die. And I'm starting to see that creep back in, which is good, which then again kind of supports the data that that's actually happening. It's something they should hone in, because sending something in or talking just specifically about 5-axis machining, it's different for a mold builder. They have different challenges, as I explained before. So it's nice to see technology suppliers acknowledging that and addressing them specifically.
Very cool. We've got about 1 minute left. If you could summarize, where do you see the industry going? Do you see any changes, fundamental changes in the industry?
Fundamental. That's a tough one.
Or do you think they'll just continue to evolve on their automation and their digitization?
And that's what I think. I think it's like any shop right now. Where they need to, they're different from a job shop, but they have those similar challenges where they have to advance with automating, because it's the people issue, right? And not just that, to advance their processes and operations and to make better products. It's that. It's data and it's automation and machining strategies are key. And software. Can't forget software. Can't forget software.
Well, cool. I'll look forward to seeing where it goes and to visiting with you again at every show. It's always good to get the update.
It is.
This has been Shop Talk, and our guest has been Christina Fuges, the editorial director for Mold Making Technology. For IMTS TV, I'm Bill Herman.